Stop living on autopilot and reclaim your life today. Have you ever realized that the version of you people admire is the exact version quietly destroying your future? No one asks this question, and that silence is the real trap. There are mornings when you sit at the edge of your bed and stare at the floor in front of you. The room is quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you wonder how long you have been living on autopilot. You breathe, you stand up, you move through the same motions you have repeated for what feels like an entire lifetime. And for a moment you ask yourself a simple question. When did my life stop feeling like mine? My name is Wason, and this is Learn English Listening, a place where you do not pretend to be fine, a place where you learn English through the truth of your own life, a place where you rebuild from the inside out. I have rebuilt myself once before, not because I wanted to, but because I had no choice. And maybe today you feel that same pull, that silent pressure telling you something has to change before the year ends. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something simple that opens the door between your life and mine. Which city are you listening from? And what hour of the day is it for you as you hear my voice? Say it in the comments. Speak it into the world. Because naming where you stand is the first step to shifting where you are going. Here is the truth most people hide. You keep pretending everything is fine. You smile, you show up, you carry the weight like a champion. But inside, something is collapsing. Something is asking for air. Something is asking for a new direction. And you know it. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are not confused. You are not broken. You are simply standing at the edge of a life that no longer fits the person you are becoming. And the longer you try to squeeze yourself into the old version of you, the more it hurts. There is a specific kind of struggle that only shows up in adulthood. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is slow. It creeps in while you are busy doing the right things. You wake up. You work. You try. You keep going. And yet, deep down, you feel the ground sliding a little further away every day. At first it feels like tiredness. Then it becomes something heavier. You stop recognizing the person staring back at you in the mirror. You begin to lose respect for your own decisions. You feel yourself drifting through days that have no shape, no spark, no anchor. You feel behind even when you are doing everything you are supposed to do. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. You are not tired. You are unaligned. You are not lost. You are repeating a life that no longer matches the person you have grown into, and that mismatch is tearing you in half. Most people deal with this in silence. They pretend to be strong because they do not want to disappoint anyone. They ignore their own voice because they were taught to value stability over truth. They avoid change because change threatens the image they have worked so hard to hold together. But pretending has a cost, and that cost is your inner peace. So let me ask you something real, something only you can answer. What was the moment you realized you were not in control anymore? Was it a conversation? A failure? A quiet night alone? A sudden wave of fear? Write it in the comments. Name it. Because when you identify that moment, you take back a piece of your power. You are not the only one who has felt this way. Every adult carries a story of losing and rebuilding. Every adult carries a moment where the life they had built cracked open, and the only choice was to step forward or fall deeper. And now we step into the truth most people never discover. You have been told your whole life that you lack motivation, that you need more discipline, that you need more willpower, but none of that is true. The real reason you stay stuck is that you do not have clarity. You do not have a sense of identity you trust. And you do not have what I call decision hygiene. Let us reveal the hidden key, and let us do it through 3 English phrases that describe exactly why you feel the way you feel. The first phrase is decision hygiene. It means cleaning your mind before you make a choice. Most people make decisions while they are exhausted or anxious or overwhelmed. They react. They do not choose. But when you practice decision hygiene, you stop. You breathe. You write down the assumptions you are making. You ask yourself if your fear is based on facts or imagination. When your mind is clean, your direction becomes clear. The second phrase is identity drift. This happens when you slowly become someone you never intended to be. You take jobs that do not match you. You follow expectations you did not choose. You live a life written by everyone except yourself. Identity drift is dangerous because it feels normal. But deep down, you know you are slipping away from your real self. Naming it helps you claim your identity back. The third phrase is cognitive overload. This is when your mind is carrying too many choices and too many obligations. When you wake up already overwhelmed. When every decision feels heavy. When even small tasks drain you. Cognitive overload blocks action. It shuts down clarity. It makes your future feel blurry. Now let me ask you something that reveals the truth you may have been avoiding. Which of these three describes your life the most? Decision hygiene, identity drift, or cognitive overload? Type it, claim it, because recognizing the pattern is the first step toward breaking it. These three phrases are not just English lessons, they are a mirror. They show you the hidden architecture of your life, and once you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. There was a night in my life when everything collapsed at once. No noise, no warning, just a sudden heaviness that pressed against my chest until I could barely breathe. I was sitting alone in a small room with the lights off. The air felt thick. My mind felt crowded, and for the first time, I admitted something I had avoided for years. I was not living. I was surviving. I remember the silence more than anything else. It was the kind of silence that forces you to face yourself without escape. I sat there and felt the weight of my own decisions. The decisions I postponed, the decisions I avoided, the decisions I made to please others, the decisions I made out of fear rather than truth. All of it gathered around me like shadows. But in that darkness, one clear thought rose above the noise. The day I take responsibility for my decisions is the day my life begins to change. Not responsibility in a punishing way. Responsibility in a liberating way. The kind of responsibility that says, I am not trapped. I am not powerless. I am simply one clear choice away from a different direction. And maybe you are standing in that same moment right now. Maybe you are holding on to a life that feels heavier each day. Maybe you are repeating patterns that exhaust you. Maybe you have been waiting for someone to rescue you from the decisions you refuse to make. But no one is coming to make them for you. This is your turning point. So let me ask you something that can shift the next chapter of your life. If you could change just one part of your life this month, what would it be? Say it in the comments. Whisper it. Write it. Bring it into the open. Because the moment you name it, the moment you stop running from it, you begin to reclaim your strength. Your life does not change through force. It changes through clarity, through honesty, through courage, through a single decision made with a steady mind and an open heart. Take a slow breath with me. Let the intensity fall away for a moment. You have carried so much for so long that you may have forgotten what calm feels like. But right now you are safe. You are seen. You are heard. And you are standing at the start of something new. You do not need to rebuild your entire life. That is too heavy, too overwhelming, too unrealistic. You only need to rebuild the part of you that still cares, the part that still hopes, the part that still believes there is more for you than the cycle you are trapped in. That part of you has not disappeared. It is waiting for you to come back to it. Here is what matters. Clarity before action. Identity before achievement. Decision hygiene before ambition. You are not failing. You are reorganizing. You are returning to yourself. And when your inner world becomes clear, your outer world begins to shift on its own. Start small. Start honest. Start with one experiment, One decision, one change. Not to impress anyone, not to prove anything, but to reclaim the direction of your own life. That is how transformation begins. Quietly, steadily, with intention instead of fear. Now you stand at a crossroad, and it is not a dramatic moment. It is a real moment, a human moment. At this moment, you stand between comfort and growth. Which path will you take? If this video gave you something real, something honest, something that touched the part of you that is ready to rise, share it with someone who is carrying silent battles of their own. And subscribe so we can keep walking together on this journey of English and self-growth. You are not alone. Not now, not ever.